guys, how are you?
Hi,
Hi.
doing well. How are you?
Hi. So to start, a show like this is so specific. Like while it has the mystery and all of that stuff kind of going on, the siblings have such an important kind of dynamic to really nail down because they have that kind of sibling back and forth where they cut each other off and they're all like finishing thoughts at the same time. How was it to try and kind of bring that to life in a show like this where we're kind of thrown into their sibling dynamic right out the gate?
Hmm. Um, it was impressed upon us early on that there's a lot of value, I think, in this storytelling to clarify how each sibling feels about Joy's disappearance, about what they think has happened, about what their perspective is on the other sibling's perspective, and what's colored that, like how they've arrived at that moment where there's an alliance or a judgment or a compassion or whatnot for the other siblings. And I would just say that's a real credit to Melanie's wonderful writing and then to Chris and Don's direction and to the performance of uh the other three siblings, at least for me, in that it's such a joy to have a very clear point of view and to get something back that sends you sideways. Like that's the fun of this is to like listen and react and be affected by it. So I think there was a lot of conscious effort into defining those things um, for our sake and for the sake of the story to not just have a wash of like the kids are worried is
Hmm.
like, well, then what does that do? Um, yeah, I hope that answered that question.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, the
Yeah.
writing was such a guide for us, and because it exactly right. Like each character had their own entire point of view on, the situation and their siblings and how they interact. So it was a real, it was sort of the path was mapped out. We just had to step up and arrive at it.
Yeah, and it is too, when you have these shows that have that mystery element in it, it does kind of, and like Jake, I know you're used to it at this point because you were on White Lotus, you were on another show that's a mystery. Now you have this. They are, it does have that added layer of stress because you have to kind of sell this mystery to the audience and get us involved in it. For you as actors, is that something that's ever on your mind, or are you just what's on the page and selling these characters to us instead?
Is in terms of the audience, how the
Yeah,
audience.
like are you ever worried about like, oh, is the audience going to like understand what is happening in this scene, or is it just you focusing on your character's arc?
I think there's a part of faith and belief that comes with trusting the creative team behind the work. The writers
Mhm.
were brilliant. The Melanie, the showrunner, was excellent. The directing team was so vigilant. So that pressure, I certainly never felt it because I just had to, lean on this amazing support around me, and yeah, that just allowed me to be like, all right, well, this is the story. And, I followed and saw the timeline in front of me, but I could just rely on them that the audience will be able to receive this work the way they do because it's so perfectly mapped out by the creative team behind it.
Yeah, I've very thankfully, uh, I'm just echoing what Connor said. I agree. Like, I just want to be able to keep my blinders
Finally.
on and 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 do right by this character and what I think they would do and sort of selfishly go like those other concerns are someone else's job.
Mm.
Like don't put that on me. My job's to fulfill this thing. You should write it so that that's what's there to be fulfilled, or shoot it in a way that you're communicating other things along with what I'm doing, or edit it in a way that creates that tension. But my job is to be true to this story.
Mm.
But I will say that, I I think we all did, but really trusted Chris, who directed the first and final two episodes, and Dawn, who directed the middle three entirely. And so when their eye for a moment that maybe we were missing or the arc of a scene, really building something, if they came in and said, I think we should do this, three different ways. I think we should find these different levels, and we may not know until the edit which one does the most for the story, for the character. Then we would do it that way. And it's a little scary as an actor to like give that over, to go like, well, I guess I'll give you three different performances and you'll choose. And so it's
Yeah.
really wonderful to have that trust with someone that, as Conor has said, like the writing is there, the directing is there. You trust these people enough to say, like, I'll give you what you want. And so then you can build something out of it, and trust that they will, as opposed to being like, to make sure the audience knows what's happening, is like someone's being paid a lot of money somewhere else to make sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, I love it so much. Thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for people to get to see the show.
Thank
Wonderful.
you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thanks a lot. It was a
Thank you.
Bye.
pleasure.
Have a great one.